with something which happened yesterday. So I've been to a funeral of one of my close friend's father. So he's also an actor. He's been, I mean, an actor for a long time. So what happened is the moment when we all, it's a whole group of old friends, and some of them are actors, some of them directors, writers, producers, and all. When we all go in, we see a lot of cameras. So what are these people doing? It's a funeral happening over there. It's all flashes. So and there are vloggers. Luckily, they didn't ask for comments and all. I was surprised. So I'm just curious to know, as just my previous speaker said, is this the next thing? So what is this happening around? What is the reason behind of all these people coming with all these cameras and then taking all these? They are not behind the people. They are behind what is the car they're coming in. What are the celebrities who are there attending the function? So it is all about the whims and fancies of many, the consumption, what people are going to have. Scary. It's indeed scary. So again, coming back to the topic. So when during the pandemic times, we are all stuck. We all know that. So I had a bigger release called Malik to be, slated for theaters. Theaters were not open, shut. So what to do next? And so we were thinking about something which is kind of an experimental sort of stuff, where we were not experimenting something from direct to digital from Kerala. So I tried something like that called, that was See You Soon, which was the first direct to digital film produced for the digital platform. So what actually happened is, after the process and everything was done, so there was no, aspect ratio specifically for that film, because it was a screen-based movie. So everything happens within a screen. So it was somewhere in vertical format, somewhere in horizontal format, somewhere in, other ratios and everything. So ultimately, when I looked at it and when I finished the post-production and everything, and then when we send it to these platform people, so they have this, the quality check, which they call it as the QC. So this is happening somewhere in Singapore or somewhere. And then they send me an email. And this email was showing a lot of mistakes, what I've done from my end. So what actually happened is, with this quality check sheet, I was constantly disturbed, because I was just reviewing that, and then I was seeing what is wrong with that, and then I rechecked it again, and then I was confirming with people from the platform, and one random mail, I just asked them, can I just speak to that particular person who is doing the QC, so that I can make him understand that this is a different way of experimentation, where we are doing multiple formats. It's not the regular way of film what you are regularly used to. So then he politely said, "Sir, there is no person like that. It's a computer." So it is artificial intelligence who is actually giving me a QC. Oh, okay. So that's a computer. Okay, I have to speak to a computer. Yeah, the computer is generating an algorithm which says that these are the mistakes which we see in the film. It's on the side of the technical mistakes. So then I looked at it, and I was checking with my friends in the platforms. When I called up this person and I asked him, brother, what is happening here? A computer is giving me a cue sheet, which is saying all these mistakes that happened. Okay, yeah, I understand that. You let it. You just ignore it. Don't worry about all these things. You just deliver the film. And then finally one day, I was fortunate enough to meet him in another side of the country, northern portion of the country, where I felt when we were having a close conversation, he was showing a mail. So he is working in a proper multinational corporate level platform, into marketing. It's not creative person. So he was showing a mail of the CEO's emails, who is heading the company. So he's saying that it's a list of people who are blacklisted, and they are all listed to be terminated, and so they are just issuing those lists and it's a very diplomatic email. And so then I asked him, what is this happening? So he's just again confronting with me, again saying that, you know one thing, my CEO, literally my CEO, is a computer. So what does that mean? The computer doesn't have any kind of emotion. So it can deliver a very diplomatic way of approach. It doesn't have any kind of emotion. It doesn't have human feeling. So, and it is 100% productive. So efficiency, in terms of efficiency, it is very efficient. So they are all looking into these kind of numbers in terms of algorithms. They set up all these algorithms. So what is working right now? Okay, some set of platforms are saying, okay, comedy is working now. Bring comedy, bring comedy, bring comedy. Where is the comedy? Where is the next set of comedy? Okay, dark, pulp kind of dark kind of content. Okay, let's provide that. So where does this algorithm? And so after a point, I started deeply investing, some of my time into analyzing all these things. That is where I realized that in our country, not only in India, in the Asian territory, these two platforms, the theatrical thing and the digital thing, are not going to coexist. This is what I have arrived at. See, coexistence is a pattern when we can deliver a content directly for the streaming platform without any kind of obligation towards them, because we don't have the censor problems, we don't have other things. We are free, liberated to see a content. But it's not like that now. Now they are also looking into an aspect or a scenario where they are looking at big theatrical films. So when I'm going to platforms again, this is after COVID, after 2 years of COVID, and last 3 years of my life, 3 years of my creative career, what you say, or my financial journey or anything you say, it is dependent on platforms, because I'm making films for platforms only. Apparently Malik ended up in platforms again. I know the kind of figure which was quoted for See You Soon to Malik, what the kind of raise, what they've given. So then I understood that, okay, this much money can be provided by a platform just for regional cinema alone. Okay, that's good, that's great. But now, after a point, now I realize that entertainment doesn't depend upon entertainment alone. There are multiple factors. Now it has been a point where there is a saturation point in every industry. That can be in terms of theatrical also. We get bored when we used to watch the same content again and again. So when I started as an editor, this used to happen because I used to do multiple, I enjoy all sort of films. So when I used to do a film like Pokiri Raja in Malayalam, I used to cut a film like Magaramanya, which is a niche. Very classical example from a classical director who usually caters his films for festival crowd. So I used to do both. I used to enjoy both. So when this commercial cinema gets saturated, when I started raising this question to my contemporary directors, my fellow directors, or the directors who used to give me films as an editor, I used to ask them this question: why are you repeating the same thing again and again? Okay, that's what it's working. That's what people are asking for. So how do you know that? How do you know what's the taste of people? You are the one who wants to change that, right? No, but the appetite is that. Appetite is coming from a particular scenario where, that is where we all want to have this kind of energy, where we need to see that. Okay, I understand. Fair enough. Okay, I understand with that. Times are changing. But now, with COVID, we all felt, okay, now with the digital boom, with OTT platforms coming in, and, they are giving crazy number of offers for filmmakers, getting into platforms, make films for them, direct digital films for them. But there is a saturation point. And after a point, I realized that they took a clear U-turn when they said, now you make something bigger for theatrical. It's like, we need some bigger films. Then I was just having a confusion within my mind, asking them see, 3 of my year is with you guys, okay? And now you're saying you should make something for theater. Yeah, I'm ready to make something for theater, because I'm a filmmaker who needs to provide content for all the medium, okay, irrespective of whether it's going from digital or theater. But now I know what they're looking at. Now what all are looking at is, with the success of all these big, gigantic, pan-Indian, huge films, they are looking at films in terms of say, bring a film with 100 crore or 200 crore. That's what we are looking at now. we'll back it up. So then now apparently I find what is the difference between the existing theatrical distributor and the platform person sitting over there. They're all speaking the same term. They're negotiating the same thing. So this is my current challenge. So when this topic was given to me, what is the what has to be anticipated, what has to be predicted, what can be predicted? I don't know what is going to see after COVID. When theaters went back to normal, I often felt that okay, people will get will have that freedom. Okay, we are all liberated now, moving out of our houses, and we desperately want to come and watch films in theaters. But look at the numbers. See, when I looked at it, like an interesting film with a soul, with a good content, which can be relatable to a lot of people, they are practically telling filmmakers like us, like texting or in terms of like casual conversation or in a party when we meet, and then they say, asking us, like, we only want to invest in some kind of spectacle. See what, like we just don't want to see content-based films in theaters. So then again I'm confused. Okay, what is there? Where is this heading? So now I understood one point, that people have all invested good home theater. I mean, not everybody, but at least a good flat screen TV, and they have all subscribed to multiple platforms. Say for example, all platforms, they are like most of the A-list or the B-list platform, they've subscribed, and now they are seeing that okay, in another 20 days or 28 days, films are going to come back into these platforms. We are happy watching these films in platforms. Why should we go to theaters? So who are the, now it is come back to that earlier scenario where when we make a content with good heart, good intention, with good soul, where we like, I always have this chart sheet when I look into it and I imagine where is my set of audience coming from. So now I realize that 80% of my audience are sitting in their houses, because that is where I was. Those were my audience. Now I understood, to make something for theatrical, it's a difficult part. Earlier I was under the assumption that making films for digital was the toughest part, because making something for digital, you have that very critical thing called the remote in your hand. Whereas for theater, you are dedicated, you are investing money, you are spending that much time. Okay, when you're coming for a particular film, to watch a particular actor's film or a director's film, or in terms of the story, you are investing that much time, 3 hours of time. You're taking a drive, you're taking the traffic, everything, you're investing that, like the food, the restaurant bill, everything. And now that is a dedicated time. But for digital, it's not that. Remote is the biggest tool. Remote can actually, you have the remote or the mouse within you. The moment you are, you are not intrigued, or you are moving out of that content, what do? You will skip it. You can have that forward button in your hand. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with the earlier YouTube times, when the forward button of the YouTube was actually 5 seconds. Now, if you look at Netflix or Amazon, it's almost like 20 seconds. It's been changing. And in another 6 months, I'm telling you, that will be 25. Then they will push it to 30 seconds. So apparently, they just want your count. They just want your hit. Like they just need to randomly watch that. That's their count. That's it. So they're testing your patience. Okay, I don't want to see this. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to imagine what is going to happen next. I know all these things. Let me forward it and see. So where is this seamless entertainment flow which is going to happen? I'm still feeling this scenario where theaters are all going to become, theaters will exist. Definitely theaters are going to be always there, because see, like straight from Lumiere Brothers, we have reached here. And still here, when television came up, we all had that feel. Even people in the Hollywood, some of them, like only Universal Studio was the only studio who made content. That time Universal Studio was only making some kind of horror or B-grade films, not into the mainstream cinema. But when they embraced television, they actually produced content for television, saying that this is the next future. So my next belief, my next prediction, or I'm not going to predict anything over here. Next thing is something like, all the theaters are going to change into a big giant TV. because the technology has come so far, and nowadays you see the projection light coming from somewhere, just like the light hitting on my face. You're going to witness a big. This is actually a huge LED display, something like that. This kind of a huge LED wall is going to be there, and that's going to be a TV. That's going to be a screen. I mean, the cinema screen. And so what is happening in that screen? Cinema screen is basically, you don't need a projectionist. You don't need an operator. It will go live streaming. And so there shifts the game. So then they will decide which content should be put on theater, which content should go on your laptop, your television, and which content should be curated to your phone. So this is kind of a scary scenario in terms of filmmaker, because Malayalam cinema till today, I believe, why Malayalam cinema produced at least some kind of meaningful content, it's because none of the studios actually got a foot in Kerala, because we only believe in trust. So if you start working with studios, what apparently happens is that, I'm not against any studios over here, but the problem where we end up is that they put a script, okay, they put a script in development, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, and then finally they say, okay, let's go ahead with that. By the time they greenlight a script, the concept itself is expired. There is no value for the concept, because we have seen 3 or 4 or 10 more films on the same lines of the same film. So then what is the craving for that filmmaker to make that film at that particular scenario? Here we work only on trust. Okay, that's the only thing which we still believe. So that is the human to human connection. There is no computer in between, by the way. So I'm a person who works constantly on computer. I'm into that. But still, I believe that there should be a physical interaction always required, to personally perceive what is this person telling, what is the person trying to emote, communicate. At least listen to him, listen to his words, whether he's good or bad. Let him speak for us. So that is what which we should embrace now. It's not the technology, and I'm warning you all guys that you always believe that you are using the phone just because the phone is a product. You are the product. It's not the phone. The phone is actually using you. You are the product. You are being monitored. You are being watched. Every time when you go for a Google search, every time you are searching something, you are being monitored. So that's where the consumption is coming from. Be aware of this, guys. I know many of you guys are going to be working in MNCs and corporate firms. Be aware of this. This is going to be the next thing. Thank you so much.